Hi everyone, I'm James, and in today's video on the restoration of my Spitfire, I'm going to be changing the head gasket. We'll step through the Haynes manual instructions to do that, and the reason we're doing it is, I think, related to in the previous video where I changed the, or fixed a blown core plug out of the main part of the engine. Either the cause of that or because of that, when I was driving along, I now have a blown head gasket. So, on with fixing it. So to start with, I've partially drained the coolant already. I've just used the tap on the side of the engine block, draining it back into the coolant bottle, which luckily I saved. As a side little thing, something I didn't check when I was doing the coolant before, what's the condition of the thermostat? So I took this off, and the condition of the thermostat is missing. So that's a bit of a surprise. However, I might look at getting one in the future, but the car's been running fine without it. As much as it's probably something I want to get put back in there, I'm not too worried about it right at the minute. Now let's step through each step in the manual and see how we go. Step 1, disconnect the battery. Done. Okay, step 2 is to drain the water by turning the tap at the base of the radiator. Well, that's not actually part of this car. And at the bottom left hand corner of the cylinder block. So we've done that. Next, loosen the clip on the thermostat housing end of the top of the water hose and pull the hose from the thermostat. Well, also done that. Step 4, slacken the securing bolts that move the generator away from the cylinder head. At the same time, remove the fan belt. Okie dokie. Good. What has been put in here? Over to the metric set for random bolts. Yeah. Isn't much movement left there, but enough. It's a pretty new fan belt, actually. Okay, step 5 is 3 things. Disconnect the fuel line. That's the carburetor. What do we want to do? That one. Jesus. How long is that? To the other end. Go. That off. Still in step 5. Now disconnect the vacuum hose at the carburetor. That's that done. And undo the 3 bolts holding the water pump and the thermostat housing in place. Three bolts to undo here for the water pump. 1, 2, the third one won't move. I'll show you what we're dealing with. So if we have a look here, we have the first 2 bolts, 1, 2 down there, that are free now. This one here is seized up, so we'll have to attack that strategically. Oh, there we go, it's moving. One thing I'm just checking as I'm doing this, I'm checking the head is actually separating from the washers and the water pump, so I'm not just twisting it off if it's still frozen in the block and shearing off the bolt or anything, which it is not, so that's good. It's fun. That bolt doesn't come off with the fan on, but that's alright. So we just want to do that and loosen that all off. There we go. So that's now being held on by the stainless steel return pipe at the other end. But it is loose. Okay, step 6 is to remove the main heater pipe from the rear cylinder head stud and pull out the water pump. That is not the way mine's connected, because I couldn't get hold of that exact correct return pipe, so mine's actually bolted to the exhaust manifold. So we'll skip that for now, on to step 7. Okay, step 7 is to disconnect the controls from the carburetor, undo the 3 nuts holding the exhaust manifold on, and holding the exhaust manifold downpipe on, and then leave them attached so you can pull it off. Now that isn't going to work in my case, because my exhaust is welded all the way through. So at this point I'm going to take the carburetors and exhaust manifold off. The carburetor controls are the choke cable. So to remove that, I'll get in and undo this screw down here so I can pull that out. And the accelerator. So I'll undo that nut and this nut here and pull that off. Okay, those controls are all disconnected now. Now I just need to get the nuts off the manifold, which with all the tight spacing and aftermarket work on the exhaust may be easier said than done. So let's see how we go. See how many of these we can get to and get undone. There's that one loose. That one. That one. So how's the last one gonna mess us around? Okay. These are brass nuts, which obviously very much on purpose to make life a lot easier. Right, one. And we have these little bracket type thingies that actually press down onto the manifolds. There we go. Success. After a half-hour interval to find the nut that fell on the floor, now I will loosen the exhaust manifold and try and put that somewhere out of the way. Just like that. Alright, that's that bit done. Step 8 is to remove the rocker cover. There we go. Step 8.5, I'm going to remove this heater pipe not mentioned earlier. Tighten that back up so I don't lose the hose clamp. Hose clamp? What's a hose clamp? Scottish hose clamp. So if we have a close look here, you can see that we have some telltale milky substance and a very clean part of the engine just there. So I'd say we've got a problem around cylinder 1. Now, step, what are we up to? Step 9, sorry. To undo the, what do you call this? Rocker pedestal nuts. So we'll do these slowly. Studs coming out. So be it. Can be put back in again. Alright. In theory, this lifts off. There we go. Okay, now step 10 is to loosen the cylinder head bolts. And they have nicely provided a pattern. I pick the one that matches what I've got. How many bolts have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. Okay, and these are 9/16. So, half a turn at a time. Any amount of turn at a time. Oh. That's a bit easier. 1, 2, there's 3. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. What is going on with that one? 11. Right. Well, that's a success. They've all at least cracked with no issues. Two, 3. So I'm following this process till they're all finger loose. Just want to check. This one's a bit tight. Oh, yep, that stud's coming out. That stud's coming out. That one's That stud's coming out. And that stud's coming out. That one, and that one's fine. Okay, so I've got a few studs coming out. So what I'm going to do is, for a start, just remove all the nuts that are loose. Now I'm going to pull these studs one by one and take the nuts off in turn. So that everything stays together. Okay, so that's all the nuts off. Now, where are we up to? Step 11, draw the push rods. I have my handy dandy card to keep them all safe. Okay, now I know which way to put them back in again. Right, now step 11B. Go around and undo all the things they didn't tell you to undo. So take the spark plug leads off. Okay. First strap. And now on to step 12, removing the head itself. So, let's see how stuck this is. Not very. That's good. Loose there. Seems to be stuck in this front left corner. Just lightly lever it with a piece of wood. Nope. That's not doing the trick. Slightly stronger piece of wood. Some movement there. Oh. Well, it moves. Lifting it, however, is a whole different kettle of fish. So here we have the block. All in all, it's in pretty good condition. You can definitely see down in there has been some moisture getting in. So we'll have to give that all a bit of a clean. And here we have the head. So we've still got the gasket on there, and we have a close look in here. You can see that it does look to be some blowout along the edges, or at least some corrosion that's probably failed in there, and maybe a little bit here too, so that one's cleaning up okay. But yes, this, yeah, back here too. So this has definitely seen better days. As for the actual valves and things, they look reasonably okay, nothing's all coked up. Right, so now the fun bit, just trying to clean it all up. Right. We'll leave it there for today. Next time I'll be back to clean everything up and put it all back together again. So hit that subscribe button to see that, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to hit the like button. And ding the bell for notifications when I put a video out. I'm working on sort of a 2-week schedule at the moment, so we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye!